Mark, you have joined us in our amazing Take Down the CCP rally. And today I want you to talk a little bit about your experience of, working with us. You're on stage giving speeches, and you're chanting Take Down CCP for almost 2 hours straight when we're marching the city. And you're very energetic, you're very determined. But really appreciate it. So, Mark, what's your experience?
My voice and throat are still recovering from 2 hours, about 2 hours of chanting, but it was definitely worth it. We need to make our voices heard, and the louder the better. That's the point. We want to make sure that they hear us loud and clear, that we're there. The Communist Party is not welcome in America, and we wanted to make sure that message was felt. But back to your original question, getting involved with you guys. I've been on the NFSC Speaks a couple of times over the past year and a half or so. I went to the rally that you guys had in New York probably about 6 months ago, roughly, and I spoke at that event. And the passion behind everyone that's involved is it's something else. And when you're around a group of positive people that bring out that positive energy, even though we're all mad, we all seem to be happy together out there fighting for the cause, because and when you speak to each individual person, like, there's so many protesters that were there, but each individual person has their own story, and they've all been drastically affected by the Communist Party. And if you actually speak to them about their past, and why they're there, and whether it's a family member that got killed or how they escaped or whatever the case may be, they either break into tears or they're holding back their tears. This is very important for each individual person there. So when they see that there's all these people together, it just makes that much more of an impact. Because I was saying it before in another interview. If you're just one person standing in front of City Hall or something with a sign and chanting, you look like a crazy person. But and one person always feels like they can't make a difference. So when you're in that group of like-minded people that are all there for the same cause, it just brings out that much more energy behind everyone, because each individual person that's either on the street or could hear us inside their apartment or whatever, looking out the window, they go and they learn. Like, I would send not just the same chant, I would say, communism has killed over 100 million people. The Chinese Communist Party has bought out our politicians, our media, etc. Like, wake people up on the dangers of the Communist Party, because they're in your city right now. And I wanted to make sure that as many people there learned about that.
One of the messages you deliver and you chant is that Save America. Okay, I think this is very important. I saw you wearing the USA hoodie today, and the other day you're wearing USA.
I call it my uniform.
Your uniform, exactly.
It's my uniform for the week.
Yes, and you said you've been running offices, and you felt that's the most impactful way to contribute, and I agree with that. And also, so you want to save America, you want to help America, and you understand the CCP's corrupting influence on all these politicians and all these apparatus around it, right? And also, it's very important to note that, like, unlike other organizations, like the new federal state of China, we're not asking for donations, asking for money and do media and whatever. The only thing we ask for is to spread the word, and we're here to help. We're not here to just tell our own story. You mentioned about, like, each individual present, and also each individual of, like, the millions of supporters, even more inside China and outside of China, in NFSC has their own stories. Right, has their own stories, and they're persecuted, and their family members persecuted, and they understand the best of communism. But more importantly, we're here to save America, to tell them we understand communism the best. Right, we escaped from communist China, and we don't want America to become like communist China, like a communist state. And this is our last hope, the beacon of freedom. right? And today, you said yesterday you're on a cruise and you sent me a really funny video. You're pointing to the prison island. You said the Xi should be sent to the Alcatraz island.
We got a private island in New York too, Rikers. He's welcome there as well.
Yeah. Yes, he should be sent there. You mentioned about like when you wear the U.S., you were waving the U.S. flags and wearing U.S. uniform or your patriotic, uniform. Nobody had any problem, and also like nobody really say, oh, like we hate America or we love communism. Nobody ever chanted that. But I really doubt like even anyone actually truly wholeheartedly believe that. Right. Some of the people,
well,
I mentioned,
there are people in liberal cities that are brainwashed through our education system because it's a long-term plan. There are teachers who are socialists and they're preaching like socialism is this perfect world where, all sunshine and rainbows and you everyone is equal and everyone has money, but it's not, that dream that they're selling when it turns into reality, it's a nightmare. So there are people, especially in the youth, that are brainwashed to believe that, but the majority of the U.S., at least 75%, and I'm being conservative here with that number because whether you're a Republican or Democrat, because I speak to Democrats and they don't want communism either. So you could be a Democrat or a Republican. Communism is evil, plain and simple. Both my parents were fled communist Poland, and they told me stories when they were growing up about the food shortages and things like that. So I understand the dangers of communism since I was a kid. So I know whether it's China or the Soviet Union or Cuba or whatever throughout history, communism kills. It kills through political opposition, silencing people, killing people, starvation, re-education camps, gulags, whatever you want to call it. It's evil as it gets, the most evil thing in the world.
When you see San Francisco, like California, when you visit there, when you see those barricades, when you see homeless are all gone, although report says like you need over $10 billion to solve that, all of a sudden it's gone because she's coming. And when you saw all the politicians and yelling their Newman, they're greeting Xi when he came. And when you saw like Xi Jinping is making demands to those politicians saying like there should be no protests against him, when you saw all these changes, and also like when you see the street is empty, all the other businesses are closed down, and people are told to work from home, and when you see all these changes, when you see the United States you're no longer familiar with, what's your feeling?
Well, it's communist propaganda. So, it's the fake news. They wanted that image of no American flag in sight, as if America is welcoming communism into the country. Those images that were portrayed on the fake news is what their ultimate goal was, to make it seem to the people like, hey, yeah, we all want this. No, we don't want this. It is fake news. But to be clear, the streets of San Francisco were clear around the area of APEC. But myself and DVS, when we went out to eat and came and took an Uber back to the hotel, the group of us saw, a lot of the homeless people on drugs, which has these people literally looking like zombies. And we saw it firsthand in the streets of San Francisco. That area might be clean, but San Francisco as a whole still has a huge homeless and drug problem. And, going back to the people of the NFSC, things that you won't see on camera because they don't do it for show or for money or for anything like that. When we were having lunch, the protesters that you guys provided the lunch for, homeless people were walking by, and I saw one person that, in particular that was on God knows what, and you guys gave him sandwiches and extra sandwiches for later. That's just the kind-heartedness of you guys. And then one of the musicians were performing, and instead of just taking the sandwiches and leave, he was kind of like dancing along to it and hung around because we just brought out that positive energy and kind, good-hearted people out there, and people want to be a part of it. Like, you can see the videos and make your assumptions. Like, I see people in the comments like, oh, you couldn't even pay to tell what these people, why they're protesting China. Like I said before, we all have our individual stories. If any media person comes up to any person was there, out of the hundreds of peoples that were there, why are you here? They will tell you a million different reasons why communist China is bad. So this isn't some stage thing or anything like that. This is a large group of people who traveled from all over the world to be there and to be their voices, because we want to wake people up that, it's now or never. You can't fight communism when communism is in place. Once America falls, it's all over. So going back to save America and everything, we need to save America, because America is the last stand for global communism.